Hey guys, so if you are literate and you've looked up there, brief tangent, totally irrelevant to everything, sometimes I wonder what will happen if like YouTube moves the title and the comments, because those are the only things that in my YouTube life have been constant. Like things have moved. Like I love watching videos from 2008 when people are like, check the sidebar for more information, and there's no sidebar. You're just like, you're not pointing at anything. That makes me smile and get nostalgic for the good old days of YouTube. Good old days. The old days of YouTube. But yeah, that just bothered me sometimes. I'm like, what if those things move? Then I'll join the ranks of the people who are so old that they pointed in the wrong directions, and I'll feel elderly and awesome. Okay, so what did I learn today? I learned that Lea Michele was in Ragtime. The original Broadway production is what I'm speaking of. I believe it was 1998, but don't hold me to that. She played Tedda's daughter. I don't think the girl had a name. Just like little girl or girl, child, something like that. But yeah, I had never known that. I guess because I'm familiar with Ragtime as a show, I know loosely what the plot is about because I've sung some songs from it, and my favorite NYSSMA songs, NYSSMA comes up in conversation, of course, are from Ragtime. My favorite, I believe it's a bass one solo, is Make Them Hear You, which is great, and it's stuck in my head all the time. Not my song, could never sing it, but it's always stuck in my head. And my personal favorite song, which I like, my biggest regret is that I wasted it by singing it my freshman year instead of doing it one of the years that I could do All-State, was Your Daddy's Son, which, it's such a powerful song. Like, all the songs from that show are really, like, they're really well crafted. They all, within each of, they're a part of a greater story, but within each of them, they tell their own, they have their own climax and resolution and story, and you feel like you're really experiencing something through every song, which is great for solo performances, which is why I've never really needed to familiarize myself with the show out of the context of the one song that I'm singing in that moment, because that whole song, that song in itself is a journey. You don't need a pretext for it. But yeah, so, and the other thing is, I guess I've never seen it, because I imagine that it's kind of first of all, I don't think the rights are released, because they had a Broadway revival recently, unless the rights were released after. I don't know. I didn't really look into it, because I've never had any interest in doing it. I know I have a classmate who's always like, oh, you know, we should do Ragtime, and I'm like, you would not get a role, you're white. Because he wants to be the black character. Anyway, yes, so, I don't know if it's even possible to do a production of it, to do a regional production of it, but if it is, I imagine that it would be kind of high budget. Like, not that I think it's an expensive show, but I think that there's sort of a certain caliber for just to pull off the show at all, because it seems like kind of one of those shows, like when you're like, we're gonna do Ragtime, you're like, wow, it's like taking on Sondheim or something. Like when people are like, we're doing Sweeney Todd, you're like, oh damn, Sweeney Todd. I don't know, at least I'm like that. I don't know, maybe not everyone is, but to me personally, when people are like, we're doing Sweeney Todd, I'm like, your school is wealthy. But yeah, so that's what I learned. Lea Michele, Ragtime. The end.